until all have heard.
Welcome back to Friends in Action International's monthly podcast. We're glad you're here today. I'm excited to share with you our guest, Suzy Bachert. Suzy is the finance manager here at Friends in Action's headquarters located in Middletown, Pennsylvania. And I'm excited to interview her today and hear a little bit about her journey and how she got to FIA and the experiences that she's had so far. So welcome, Suzy.
Well, thank you.
Well, Suzy, let's just start things off. And I know a lot of people know you being at the office here for quite a few years. A lot of people have called in, talked to you on the phone, but they may not have seen your face before or have had a chance to meet you. So tell us a little bit about your background.
So, first of all, I'm your better half. So, I'm Andy's wife. So, I started at Friends in Action on a very part-time basis back in May of 2021. I was brought on to help with different reports and special projects that the finance office had. I was going to do more like team travel, reconciliation, and just like inputting bills and credit cards and stuff like that. Just little busy work, about 10 to 12 hours a week. But that turned into more of a steady role come September of 2021. The other finance manager decided that she was done with Friends in Action, and it dropped in my lap. So I assumed the position, and that's where I am today. Just has gotten a lot busier than when I started in 2021.
Very good. So tell us a little bit about the financial piece. What is your background, education that kind of you felt somewhat able or qualified to come on and help working with finances?
So I have an associate's degree in business administration, and then I worked for a water company out of college where I did their billing. I did accounts payable, accounts receivable, did their deposits. From there, I also went into my parents owned a bed and breakfast, and so I also did all her bookkeeping. And I did payroll for her. And then I took a break from that kind of world, and I worked at H&R Block for 22 years, so I did the tax thing. And from there, I came to Friends in Action.
Good. So tell us a little bit about your time with H&R Block. That's a long time to be there, and many people, I'm sure, are aware of H&R Block tax services. So tell us a little bit about that experience and your passion that you had there to stay for that long.
So I enjoyed the people. When I was working at the bed and breakfast, it was really slow during the tax time period because it was cold. So I worked that part-time. So I did 2 jobs for, 7 or 8 years. And over that tax time, I would work towards the end, I worked 60-hour weeks, but it was great when you and I had our kids. I could get out of the house for a couple hours, and I just steadily grew till I was done. I had 500 clients, and I miss the people. That is my passion. I love numbers, but people and numbers, it was a great job.
Very good. So the finance, business administration world, it's kind of been where God has led you. And then the bookkeeping opportunity at Friends in Action. So now unpack a little bit about your finance position here as far as the department head of the finance office. Tell me a little bit about what your everyday looks like, what tasks you have now stepped into.
So on a normal day, the finance department is a very busy department. It's just you don't do one thing all day long or a couple things all day long. It's pretty sporadic because you're working for all departments. So I can wire money. I can wire Western Union or international wires. Or like this morning, I did balance the bank statement and balanced some other statements. And I'm currently working through emails to people who need things. Some days all I do is input bills and credit card receipts. So I like it. It wouldn't suit everybody's role, but I do miss the people. I will make phone calls and talk to people, or I will receive calls and I make friends with people, like the trash lady on.
Always back to the trash lady story. Well, you gotta explain to the audience the trash story, the trash lady story. It's not really a trash lady, but the admin over at the trash company. You got to explain it.
So she's a great lady. We can talk when our contract comes due. Her and I catch up. We talk maybe once or twice a year, and we have a lot in common. Our moms have a lot alike. She first thought Friends in Action rescued bunnies, so I had to give her.
We don't rescue bunnies at Friends in Action. Okay, go ahead.
So I gave her a breakdown on what our mission is, and I'm really hoping that she will come out to our community day on May 3rd this year, so she can see where she is using their company to support us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. Just a real quick, you didn't go into it real depth, but at that time when she was talking to the admin over at the trash office, it was funny. Suzy and I had office space on the same side of the building here. Since then, we're split. She's on one side, I'm on the other side. But I heard her talking and laughing and carrying on the phone with this person, and I walked over to the office. I said, "Who are you talking to?" And she said, "Well, that's our trash vendor. They're the people that come and haul our dumpster from our shipping department and back and forth." And I'm like, "Are you serious? You're having this relationship with a lady that administers our trash bills?" So that just tells you a little bit about how much Suzy enjoys the people aspect of what you can do now in a finance department.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it's interesting. We also have. It's interesting how that can spur into long-term relationships. Our previous bank manager, our bank with FIA, the previous manager, Suzy and her became close friends. And when she retired, she actually came to FIA and went through our Orient and is now volunteering. She's part of our hospitality team now that she retired from banking. And it's all through just, again, building relationships with Suzy and Paul and some others here on staff that got her interested in how she can be involved in ministry in her next stage of life in retirement. So it's really cool how some of those relationships can build and grow from just a couple phone conversations.
Yes. So they keep me locked in an office, so I got to make friends on the phone.
That's right. That's right. So, okay. So that's your office piece. That's what you do here at headquarters. But you and I and the family have had the privilege of traveling together to a couple of our fields. Tell the audience a little bit about your experience on short-term mission trips. How did you as a woman participate in some of the teams, whether they be construction or other? Kind of lay that out for some of the ladies that are watching too.
So I got my first introduction to short-term trips back in 2018. Paul was looking to take Andy on a trip to Vanuatu in 2017. And he looked at me and said, "I don't really want to go without you." And I had never been on a missions trip, so I was a little leery. But we decided to take our kids along. They were 9 and 12 at the time. And it took me a month to pack for the four of us because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't missing anything. So I prepared very well. We traveled for 2 days. The kids did a phenomenal job. And Andy taught me how to weld in order to go to Vanuatu. So that's what I did for the 2 weeks we were there. You don't have to do welding. You don't have to do woodworking. I have been there a total of 3 times. The second time, I joke around and said I was a professional ladder holder since you were up in the air between 30 and 40 feet. So I went for that and picked up that and you know, you have to just be the hands and feet. And that's what I was for those 2 weeks. And then the third time, I actually was able to spend more time with the missionary wife. I made breakfast, I did laundry, I went shopping. And so every time I go, it's a new experience. I get to do different things, and that makes it fun and exciting.
Good, good. And I'm going to unpack this a little bit. As a woman traveling on short-term mission trips, that again, you have skill. You can weld, and you and I have laid a lot of tile together too. So you do have a construction mindset, but you also do enjoy cooking and helping support the teams there. Have you ever been? This is you've gone 3 times. Your fourth, we're going to be heading out to Vanuatu in July again. This will be your fourth time. Have you ever felt as a woman or maybe a little bit less skilled person on the team? Have you ever felt unvaluable, not valuable?
No, every person that has been on a team, even if they don't have a high skill, they are amazed when they walk away and say, wow, that was really cool. I actually contributed, I was valued, I got to make new friends, build new relationships, got a whole new outlook on what missions is all about. Um, I've enjoyed them.
How do you think the impact of having ladies along on our teams does for the missionary wife and family?
Oh, it's a huge value. The missionary wives are, I mean, yeah, if no women go along, they are burdened with all the upkeep and all the responsibility of a team of guys. Not saying that the guys can't jump in and help, but they're normally outside working. We work long days between 10 and 12 hours, and they don't have the time or the flexibility to jump in and help her in the house with kids. So, or give her communication and just spend time and do life together. I mean, it's a huge, huge value.
Yeah, I'm glad that's kind of where I wanted to lead you at the end of your conversation there was what that does for them personally and building them up as sisters in Christ and just be able to have relationships, especially if they're out in the bush a lot. They may not they may not run into a lot of people that can fluently speak English or can spend that time and bring a little piece of home to them for those 2 weeks.
Well, and if they're, I mean, they can have friends with the Nationals, but they're not, the Nationals aren't going to be able to relate to an American woman. They just, it's just a huge culture shock. Like they don't understand where they're coming from, and they don't feel, the missionary wife doesn't feel like she can be honest with them. So, you know, she can be isolated. So bring in another woman along just who understands life helps.
And I think I'll share. Want you to share a little bit about the impact back in 2018 when we had our son and daughter along, who were 12 and 9, as you mentioned. Um, how did that? How did you see that as mom impact them for fast forward now to 2025, where we are as a family?
Well, it opened their eyes up. I mean, I believe everybody in this world should have to leave America and go to a third world country because we're spoiled. And it gave them an eye opener that not the whole world is not like where we live. They had more appreciation for life here in America. Um, it just opened their eyes up.
Yeah, good.
And, I mean, we have been very blessed not to have any delays in travel when we've gone. Um, but we've seen the Lord work in crazy ways. Like when you go to Vanuatu, they thrive on island time, is what we call it. So we ordered concrete one day, and they're like, yeah, it could show today at 2, 3 hours from where it's supposed to be, or could it show up 2 or 3 days from now? And it was there within the hour that they said they were going to be there, which was huge.
Mhm. Yeah, and often in many countries, not just Vanuatu, you recognize that relationships are much more valuable than getting the work done. And those relationships that on island time, sometimes when you get to start building those relationships and have conversations, it doesn't seem like the pressure of what we feel here in the U.S. of getting the work done and being efficient. It feels like you're doing more kingdom building, you're doing more relationship work. You're doing that.
But that island time stretches you. As an American who likes to have task oriented, yeah, God will grow you on a missions trip.
Yeah. Let's go back to the finance piece. A few months ago, we interviewed Barry in the shipping department. How does your role come into not just for like the office operations and teams and wiring money to missionaries and running missionary payroll and things like that? What's that whole piece of the shipping department look like for you?
So when they do containers, and Barry does a lot of buying for containers, then we will invoice the missionary who has purchased those items or has wanted us to purchase those, so that they can pay us back. And then I do all the invoicing for the breakdown of the freight charge that goes out to all the missionaries. So yeah, I have my hands in that department also.
So that's a whole additional workload, not just of the operations of the headquarters and things itself here, but the whole shipping department as well.
And then when we ship containers, as soon as it hits the water, like we're looking to pay a bill so that they can get all the paperwork out. So normally I do bills once a week, but for shipping containers, I try and pay them the day that we receive them.
Yeah, it's quite the little dance that we do as far as as certain things happen, you got to do the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. I think you and Barry do well at working through that. So, yeah, our international shipping department is part of our organization here in Middletown, but oftentimes we because it kind of runs on its own and goes, we don't really remember sometimes that they're an important role to reach missionaries with support materials and things too. So I appreciate you sharing that a little bit. So part of you being here and me being here in the office, not to get too personal, but what's that for you? And we've talked about this, so there's no nothing that I won't find out. But what's that dynamic feel like sometimes?
So we have a good time. Some days I don't see him at all. He's on one side of the building and I'm on the other. So we'll actually schedule meetings so we can catch up. We have a good time in the office too. He tried to fire me one day and, that didn't really work because I came back to work the next day. Yeah, I would say we work well together in the field, in the office, at home.
Good. Yeah, it's interesting. I think the thing that she gets irritated the most is when I call her on Microsoft Teams and she says, "Why don't you just walk over here?" So, yeah, we have a good time. So, speak into a little bit about the culture. Like, how do you feel it is like? I mean, you've worked for for-profit businesses, pretty much as long as I have. Stepping into the nonprofit world and the environment and just the culture here, like how does that give us some read on that?
So it's a team culture. I would have to say that, but when I worked at H&R Block, we had a team culture too. Now, granted, I really didn't care for management there. Management.
That mean you don't care for me now?
Management here is a little different. But yeah, it's a tight group. Like we all support each other. I know there's conflicts sometimes, but we work through those. But coming to work is not a chore to me.
Good. Well, appreciate you sharing a little bit about the culture here. Yeah, it's one of the things that, as leadership, senior leadership team, we've been trying to really work on building that relationship with our missionaries, and it's hard because we have staff in Kansas, we have staff in Missouri, we have staff in South Carolina. I mean, we're all over Virginia, so we do an awful lot of virtual meetings and virtual meet and greets. So, and we have our international staff as well. So it is a challenge to pull all that together. Not just that we can have a culture here at headquarters, but that we can have Friends in Action international culture, how we want to treat each other and how we want to be treated as well. And I think it's the path we're on is encouraging, and the board and the executive team really do a good job at setting us up for that. So appreciate you sharing a little bit about that. Share a little bit about as I do with many of our podcasts. I recognize most of our staff are support raised, faith raised missionaries. Explain a little bit about your journey on that with me, of
With
course,
you.
but explain a little bit about. I mean, you come from a financial background. You know what it's like to have a steady salary, a good income, and like explain a little bit about how God spoke to you personally. I mean, I know as a family we worked through some things, but share a little bit about where you were and what did that look like for you?
So we lived a very comfortable life when he was working in the for-profit world, and when he decided we should become missionaries, I was like, no. um, you decided early on, much quicker than I did, that this was something you were interested in doing, but you gave me the space that I needed to figure through that. I had asked God to change our life because you were working 80-hour plus weeks, and I was tired of that. I wanted you around a little bit more. And so when you came back from your last mission trip and lost your job, that was an answer to prayer, not the answer I was looking for. Um,
Yeah, me neither.
so, yeah, I did a lot of praying and a lot of soul searching. And a couple months later, I agreed and I told God, I said, okay, God, I'm willing to do this and I'm willing to do the work, but I need you to show up. And he showed up in amazing ways. Like, he can do whatever he wants. You just have to trust him and take that first step.
Yeah, good. Thanks for sharing. So 2021 is when we started raising support. Um, how how did that look for you once you saw God working? You it almost did it. It's something that we both kind of dreaded at first, but as God showed up, as we took that first step, as we're studying Joshua, the book of Joshua, in our Bible study, in our staff meetings here, and we took that first step into the Jordan. We took that first step, kept our eyes on God, kept our eyes on the ark. We took that first step. How did that then gain momentum, and how did you start to feel about that?
Well, for one, I was really excited about meeting with people because I love people. Not really excited to ask for money, but we would tell our story and we asked, and the worst thing they could do was say no. And God was very faithful and very kind to us. We didn't really have anybody who told us no. And so that was huge.
Yeah. How did you and God have that conversation as far as that final kind of laying it out?
Oh, I told him I'm willing to try, but he better show up. And he did. I'm like, okay, God, like, I'm willing to do this, but yeah, I will take the step and we'll do it. We'll make it happen, but we're going to rely on you. And he did. I mean, he raised the funds in like 9 months, and that's quick when you're raising funds for ministry.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for sharing. We won't be long on that piece of the conversation, but I think it's important for people to recognize that, again, we mention it almost at every podcast about the people that we're interviewing, raising support, and the importance of prayer and finances through that to continue to bring people into your sphere of influence so they can be part of your journey. It's a great time when we can share newsletters and we can share stories about trips we've been on that people have prayed and given and been part. That's their role in what God has them doing in ministry.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Before we wrap this up, give us like again, it's a little fun side here. What's your favorite thing about working with Friends in Action?
My favorite thing. I get to work with my friends.
Yeah.
I have a blast. But I have a blast wherever I go. But yeah, I get to work with friends every day. I mean, I've never had a job that I didn't really enjoy, but I know a lot of people who dread going to work, and I think, how can you dread going to work? And I
Good.
get to work for God, so that's really cool.
That's right. So you had mentioned earlier, and I'm going to have you do a plug for it. I'm kind of going to catch you off guard here a little bit. You mentioned Community Fun Day on May 3rd. Give us a little bit of information about what is Community Fun Day at Friends in Action.
So, Community Fun Day is for the family. It's to teach you about what it is and what we do for the hard to reach places in this world. We want to let them know that you can share Jesus with anybody, anywhere, doesn't matter what you're doing, but we do it to the hard to reach places. So we like to bring people in, and we use it a lot for young families, but it's good for grandparents, it's good for anybody. We have equipment for guys to run through a little obstacle course, which is fun. I haven't done it yet. It's on the maybe for the bucket list this year. We have chicken barbecue to buy, which is amazing. We've got a bounce house for the kids and a barrel train for the kids. And normally we do some type of small craft. This year we're having the kids' cookie break.
WJTL.
So WJTL, and we also have Forgotten Friends. So it's a great day. It's from 9 to 2. You can pray that the Lord will allow us no rain this year, but it's a great day.
Yeah. Yeah, so just to recap what Suzy said, Nicole Miller, who I think was our very first podcast guest, she's our event coordinator. She's been doing a great job, along with some others here at the office, putting this event together. It's our fourth annual, 4 years now we've been having Community Fun Day. And it really is a mission expo. I really invite all of you, if you get a chance to stop out on Saturday, May 3rd, from 9 to 2. Like Suzy mentioned, WJTL will be here, broadcasting kids' cookie break for a few hours. We're going to have everything we have activity-wise for the family is based on missions and how it ties together with the work that we do. Like Suzy mentioned, the excavator course, there'll be equipment for kids just to climb around on, get their pictures taken with. We're going to have the Forgotten Friends reptile guy here. That's going to be a lot of fun. This is his second year here with us, and he'll be showing some reptiles that we may find in some of the fields that we go to. As well. So it's a great opportunity for the family. We'll have actually other missionary partners here as well. I know there's going to be probably at least 6 other mission organizations here to be able to explain what they do and maybe how you can get involved with them as well. We're going to have a craft. We're going to have just all these things for the family to really engage. We'll have Hitch Coffee is going to be here, so if it's a little chilly in the morning, we're going to have a coffee truck here. We'll have the Peter's Chicken Barbecue as well. So you can find more information on our event page on our website. But that really is an exciting time to allow the community to come in, get to know who we are. Time and time again, we hear from new people that year. They say, "Wow, we didn't even know this was back here. We didn't even know how we could get involved in missions as a husband or a wife or a family." So it's a great opportunity to share, and you can find more information. I'm sure Emily will put some information in our show notes as well. So as we wrap up, what is kind of one thing that you can close us out with today in relations to your role here at Friends in Action?
For my role particularly,
Or just any piece to close us out.
well, I would say that don't sell yourself short that you can't do missions. You can do missions here at home, but you can also go abroad. Um, it's not hard. We walk you through it. We give you all the information. We take care of all your logistics, and it will change your life for the positive.
Boom. There's your golden nugget for the day. Very good. Well, we appreciate the time you spent to continue to watch our podcast and to join us today as we interviewed Suzy and her role here and her involvement in international travel as well. And I think, like I wrap up every episode, Suzy was a professional in finances. She was a stay-at-home mom, a wonderful wife, and yet she felt
I'm
God.
still a wonderful wife.
Okay, she still is a wonderful wife. Sorry. But she felt God calling us as a family, her in particular, into her role with Friends in Action and missions. So, like I close out every episode, it's just people. We're just normal people. We're just regular people taking that first step into the Jordan, take that first step to see where God may have us in missions. And again, as we do that, and as we look for God to work in our lives, to lead us in that direction, our goal is to reach all those who have never heard until all of them have heard. Thanks.